successful as a woman who carries a weapon. I say all of these things with complete and utter humility. These are things that I've learned by both being a woman and carrying a weapon every day and going to tons of classes and watching things online. So I'm certainly not above being wrong, but I want to share my experience and what I've learned. Some of these things are going to sound like a cop-out because they aren't as tactical as some of you are probably expecting. They are not. These things are more important than what kind of bullet you carry, what kind of gun you carry. These things supersede that. Those things are important. This is more important. The number one thing that you need is a mindset. You have to get in your mind that I will carry all the time, not just when I have the outfit on that is conducive to it. Let me tell you right now, your outfit is not more important than your life. You can make cute outfits work for carrying a weapon. And if you're not, like, you aren't wearing pants that day, or you don't have the right kind of leggings that help you like carry a weapon, that's fine. Have it somewhere where you can get to it at all times. Because I guarantee you, the people who have been killed by insane people who decide to come in and shoot up a place didn't think that today was going to be the day that they needed their weapon. All right, so 100% of the time, carry everywhere. The second thing about this mindset is you have to be prepared to kill. That's a really tough thing, and I do not say it like that's easy and that you're a badass because you carry a weapon and you're okay with killing people. If you're okay with killing people, you're insane. So I don't really want to know you. But you have to think about it as a normal human being, thinking it's my life or theirs, and you have to cut out the human aspect so that you can prepare yourself for that. I think as women, we're naturally more emotionally attached to people, and that's a good thing. But in this instance, we got to cut it out. And I say all this in the theoretical sense. I've never killed someone. I've never shot at anyone. I hope I never have to. But seriously, when I put my weapon on in the morning or have it with me when I'm practicing, that's what I'm thinking about is, what if I have to use this today? By the way, I stole that from my boyfriend. He's awesome and really, really good with weapons. So his advice is solid. The second thing that you need is courage. Whenever you're shooting a weapon, you have literally an explosion going off in your hands. And you have to tell your body that that's okay, to not shy away from it, to not run and hide. And so the only way that you can make that happen is practice. If you think about the first time that you were driving, you were terrified, probably, if you were like me, of the 18-wheelers on the road and staying in the lines and like, wow, these lines seem really small. It was freaking terrifying, right? But the more you do it, now you wind up at home and you don't even remember driving there because it's just second nature. That's what it's got to be with your weapon. And I'm going to make a video about the things that you can do to get so used to your weapon that it's just second nature to be able to rack a slide, or to load your magazines and all that stuff. But just know that it's okay if this is scary to you. That's normal. You just have to work through it. So I grew up around weapons, and so this was a little bit easier for me. But even with my experience and growing up around them and shooting them my whole life, there are still times when I'm like, okay, stop freaking out. This is gonna be fine. It's not gonna explode. It's gonna be okay. Third thing that you need is perseverance. Owning a weapon and being proficient with one as a woman is not as easy as it is with a man. We naturally have less strength than they do. Our hands are typically smaller than theirs. So it's not gonna be just super easy, but that's okay. You know what else wasn't super easy? Us getting our right to vote in America. Worth it. There are things that you can do to make it easier. Basically, if you have a semi-automatic weapon, meaning it's not a revolver, so there's a slide at the top that has to rack back in order to load your pistol. My boyfriend, another great advice from him, is to push with your strong hand. And I'll show this again in another video. So there are little like tips and tricks that you can do to utilize our strengths as women. The last thing with perseverance is you just have to decide to be the best, because everyone's gonna underestimate you and everyone's gonna say that it's okay if you aren't as good as men, and it's not okay. It is not okay for you to not be as good as a man. If it takes you more practice, then that's what it takes. Fourth thing that you need is humility. Like I said a second ago, You will be underestimated. Every time you walk into a gun store, they're gonna try to sell you a revolver because they think that that's the only thing you can handle. They're wrong. You know what's great about being underestimated? The freaking element of surprise, because no one expects a 120-pound woman who's 5'4" to be able to hold her own against a guy who tries to rape her, because she knows how to deploy her weapon quickly, efficiently, and on target. Use that element of surprise to your advantage. And then the fifth and final thing, which is freaking paramount, and I suck at it, is situational awareness. Whenever you are walking in a parking lot, walking down the road, especially if you're in a city, if it's dark outside, you need to be paying attention to who is around you. So here's what I've done to try to up my situational awareness for those of you who are not naturally inclined. Every time that I get out of my car or walk outside, I scan from left to right, try to see who's around. Is anyone looking suspicious? Is anyone trying to make eye contact with me? Like, are they about to approach me? All that good stuff. Because like I said before, element of surprise is your best friend. The thing that you have to have in order to have the element of surprise is to know when someone's coming. So if you start noticing that someone is approaching you, you can try to avoid the situation. P.S. a part of that mindset that I mentioned before, you do have to be prepared to kill, but you also have to try to de-escalate every situation as much as you can. If you notice that some creeper is gonna try to come up with you, walk the other direction, get in a crowd, go back in your car, drive away, like whatever. All those things, that's situational awareness, and that will hopefully prevent you from ever having to actually deploy your weapon. So those are the 5 things that you need to be successful as a woman with a weapon. Keep learning, you guys. That's all we can ever do. So I hope in this video I didn't come off super harsh about things. Truly, I'm just really passionate about this because I honestly believe that if there are more people who are proficient with weapons in our society, it's literally going to save people's lives. Not just your own, but countless others. So take that for what it is. My harshness is passion.